Hi, everyone. Welcome to Let's Get Writing. I'm your host, Catherine Taylor, and this is a show all about the writing process from creation to publication. And here is where you can find inspiration, ideas, and the best part, meet the people behind the stories. I like to say that we bring life to books and so much more. Now, if you have a question, if you're watching during the interview live, you can put it in the comments and we'll do our best to answer it. And we'll track these things after the show as well in case you do want to have your question answered. Now, to stay up to date on shows, you can check them all out on YouTube at Catherine Taylor TV and also on Facebook at Catherine Taylor Media, for those of you who are not seeing the show live. Now, are you curious about ketogenic cooking or ketogenic lifestyles and possibly the weight loss journey of my guests today? It's been pretty amazing, and they have such a wonderful story to tell, but they also have two wonderful cookbooks called Coast Keto 1 and 2. So I want to welcome them to the show, and Bobbi and Geoff Pike, and it takes a little second for them to come up, but they are coming. There they are. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
So nice to see you again. It was about a year ago when I went online live with these shows, and you were one of my first guests when we took the show from the studio right onto Facebook Live. And so here we are a year later.
Back again.
Back again. And I have this was the first cookbook, East Coast Keto. I call it 1, but it's your basic Bible. And this one just arrived today. And I have been going through it, mouth-watering. The photography is amazing. So you guys, you're out on the East Coast. I'm here in central Newfoundland. Where exactly are you located?
We're in CBS, just outside St. John's. We're in beautiful downtown Topsail. Topsail.
Where no doubt the sun is shining and the weather is exceptionally warm.
The sun is shining, exceptionally warm, maybe not so much.
Not yet. It's coming. It's coming. And you've got a couple of the family here with you. I think Squiggles and Isadora.
Yep.
This is Isadora.
Oh, sweetie. And Squiggles.
And
Oh, well, I know I've got my poo princesses behind me, but she's sleeping. She's not an active member of the interview here today like your dogs. So it's been a year, Geoff and Bobbi. What has happened? A new cookbook. Fill me in a little bit.
a lot.
You know what? We've been having so much fun developing recipes. East Coast Keto 1 was all about all of our home recipes, about the Jigs dinner type meals that mom and dad made. Whereas opposed to East Coast Keto 2 is more us expanding or really showing you more of our repertoire in the way that, for example, our honey garlic spare ribs, or beef burritos, things that we do outside of the typical East Coast kitchen that are,
Not just meat and potatoes.
Not just meat and tatties.
No. Oh, we're going to get a little more into the food, but in the beginning, like in the opening of your books, you talk about what got you on this journey to keto and taking our East Coast food that we all love and ketofying it. Maybe for those who don't know about your journey, I know there have been plenty of people who do, especially with 5,000 people plus on your Facebook page. But how did this all come about?
So, we've both always been thin people. And when we got together, I think it was just in that time of our life when, weight gain started to happen. We were very happy. We've always been foodies, but we got a little bit too happy, as in we were expanding. And I was getting to the point where if I went to school with you and I ran into you out in the mall, for example, I was physically embarrassed about myself, and that's never a nice place to be. And for me, the nutshell kind of happened sometimes through my art world, we're asked to be Newfoundland ambassadors, and we were doing such an event. There was a bunch of fancy smancy chefs from all over the world, and I was to be one of the escorts who would chat and talk and entertain. And we were hiking at this particular time, and I was literally gasping because I guess my size and you know, I do have asthma. And for me, it was enough is enough. You know, I need to take better care of myself. And that's when we really started to research. We went to talk to our family doctor, and she pointed us, luckily, in the right direction.
Wow. And Geoff, you are the sidekick, so you were all for all this yourself and came right on board.
100%. I mean, we've always been foodies and loved food, and this basically enabled us to take our love of food and turn it around on its head and still be able to enjoy the food for what it is. And it really is just real food.
Just real food.
The taste is amazing. And you know, since we chatted, I have been into this book so much. And actually, I mean, a lot of what I eat is very much based on keto, but my husband has a real sweet tooth. And I thought, okay, if he's going to be like this, I'm going to try making him some of these wonderful desserts. And that's what I was working on over, I don't know, the past few months. If he wanted a dessert, I would cook it up out of here. And oh man, like the chocolate with the cherry blossom. I'm sorry, I have to say this. It's so good.
Awesome. You know, one of the things that we're trying to teach people, for us women in particular, we've gone through our whole lives feeling food shame and food guilt. And, you know, it's almost come to the point where you have a bad day, you go eat something that, quote unquote, you're not supposed to eat, and it makes you feel worse. And our whole approach is just trying to free everybody of that. You can have the dessert if you want. If you just tweak your recipes a little tiny bit, like we have done in both of our cookbooks, you can have your piece of dessert after supper, and it's not going to affect your waistline. It's not going to affect your blood glucose level. And, you know, there's none of those mental games up there where you have to beat yourself up because you had something sweet.
Absolutely. And when you say the mental game, it is so prevalent these days. And I was actually looking at a blog post last week about someone who had gone through that. She had gone through Miss Universe pageants and just how much people were made to feel bad about their body or what they ate. And it can become such a huge issue for people. But you have helped solve some of this problem. And I know it didn't happen overnight. There's so much work has gone into these books. And this is a show where we do talk about the making of books, amongst other things. How was it? You made your first cookbook, but how about the second one? You know, was it an easier process?
It was really, because we'd already had all the groundwork in place in regard to knowing how to get the editing done ahead of time. The first time when we went through the process, you know, we literally just sent everything in. And of course, there was a lot of work in the beginning to get everything fine-tuned. But I had a lot of that done this time. So, you know, learning as we go.
Mm-hmm.
But and as far as the creative side of things go, that's where your artistic talent comes in. And it all started with, we would put together a absolutely fabulous plate of food for us to enjoy, and we'd end up taking a picture and sharing it. And other people are saying, oh my God, what did you make there? That looks amazing. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
And in the first book, East Coast Keto snowballs through out of that.
They're in there. So the photography in the books, you've done this yourself?
Yes,
yes,
they are photos.
Bobbi has? Oh my gosh. Yep. Because, well, I do have photographs I'm going to put up, but I don't want to jump into them right away. But I mean, the photography is amazing in here. It's mouth-watering. And I think that's a nice part of a cookbook, is to actually see it in front of you and be inspired by it. I, too, can make this. And you've kept it easy. So how did you ketofy things that we love to eat?
You know, building your keto pantry is something that we recommend that you do over time, the same as keto itself. So many people start keto and they go out and they spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars and go cold turkey, and then in 2 days they're kind of upset with themselves because they haven't lost the weight. And you know, really, it's not really like you have a fat spigot here that you can just turn the dial and all the fat pours out. If you want to do this, like, keto is all about quality. And quality takes time, and it's the same thing as ketofying your pantry, in that, you know, 1 week you go out and you know, buy yourself some almond flour, and the next week you know, buy yourself some coconut sauce, which is a replacement that we use for soy sauce. And you know, the recipes were really that our process is, I have all of my grandmother's old cookbooks, and I use those a lot for inspiration. So I'll take one of Nan's recipes, and it's pretty cool. Like, I have some of her handwritten sheets. For example, there's a cake in there where not only is the name of the cake the person who she got it from, but her phone number is up in the top corner, so she could remember to call her to get last minute instructions. But I take Nan's recipes and I would kind of tweak them, and, for example, use the almond flour instead of regular flour. Then I would put them forward to, we would test them ourselves. And our last roadblock is always, I'll take the recipe and I'll pass it over to him and I'll step out of the way. And the goal here is for him to be able to totally recreate the recipe without having to check with me and say, Bobbi, what do you mean by this? Because, you know, we realize that so many people have this in their kitchen, and, you know,
I'm the quality control.
You're the quality control, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know, having used the book, you've done an excellent job at keeping it clear and simple. And I think you've even the ingredients are not too hard to get hold of. Sometimes there are a few things that are a bit challenging, or I have to look up because I'm not familiar with that ingredient. But in general, you've kept it very simple and easy to do.
Well, our whole brand is approachable and down to earth, and you know what, we can all throw
it doesn't have to cost a fortune.
We can all throw at fancy smancy words and you know, and get all, you know, educated kind of thing. But at the end of the day, we're just regular people, the same as everyone else, and that's what we're trying to teach people is that, you know, we're not fancy chefs. We're just everyday people, and you can do this too.
And you can do it, and beautifully. I tried to make those. Oh, I tried to get an ice cube tray and make the chocolates in those. Mine probably weren't as pretty as yours, but darn, they tasted so good.
One of our sayings is, unless the queen is coming, they don't have to look perfect. And I don't think the queen is doing a lot of traveling these days. So.
No, not my way. So now, as you're doing this, you've built a lot of people who follow you, and you also are coaches to people who are trying to learn the keto lifestyle. And do you take on individuals? I know you work in a group setting. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we offer individual coaching, and they're available through our shop online at eastcoastketo.com. We offer packages, everything from a 15-minute quickie right on up to a business consult that can take a couple of hours. And
month-long, once a week, check in, give you here's a meal plan to follow, or some sample. Check in once a week and go from there.
And you know that, I mean, that can be so helpful to people. How many people are on your Facebook page?
Almost 6,000.
We're just above 5,900, I believe, and of course our public page as well has quite a few followers, and yeah, you know, there are people around the world in Germany and France and London who are following the East Coast Keto way of living, and that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And since January, we've been running a month-long, we call it a reboot session, which is kind of like a keto boot camp, where it's a premium package for 4 weeks. We give you meal plans. There's secret recipes that are not published either on the website or in our books. And
we do cook-alongs, we do yoga sessions, so it's pretty
everything
exciting.
There. So that's all part of your group that's a membership based, And then there's the open space for people to come in and just get their feet wet. What are some of the biggest questions people ask you about keto, or the biggest hitches they have with keto lifestyle?
Where do I find fill in the blank?
Yeah, here on the East Coast, one of the main reasons, other than trying to help people, is trying to source ingredients. For example, we use pork rinds as breading. If you look at our best ever breaded chicken, we take pork rinds, which really is just puffed up pig skin. And when we started this journey, they were not to be found here in Newfoundland anywhere. We use a lot of vegetables that just are a little bit different. For example, celery root or a celeriac. If you've probably seen it in your grocery store, it looks like a turnip with a Rastafarian hairdo. And when we started this journey, you could not find those here on the island anywhere. But
and now the stores have trouble keeping them in stock.
And now they have trouble keeping them in stock because our people are going out en masse looking for those ingredients.
Yeah, well, that's the thing when I do go or travel, I often do come back with ingredients and food items, such as different flours or things that I can't readily get here. I mean, you can get almond flour, but if I want to throw in something a bit different, then that's what I'm looking for when I go, those specific things. So I'm probably not alone, but it's so good that our grocery stores are expanding to carry more of these things, certainly. Yeah,
they're absolutely fabulous. At the end of the day, the grocery stores want to sell products to you, and if you go now, I don't recommend you ask the cashier or you ask the young fella who's stocking the shelves, because really they're doing their job. They want to go home at the end of the day. What you got to do is you got to find the produce manager or the meat manager and say to them, okay, I need this. Can you bring it in for me? And 9 chances out of 10, they're
more than happy to accommodate. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And what about the pardon?
An internal banter that we have all the time. I'm the interrupting cow.
Moo.
Well, you guys have such a great relationship together, and I think the fact that you're on this journey together, and I guess, Geoff, that you get to be the litmus test for everything. You've really made it a part of your lifestyles, and that's, I think, also part of the appeal of what you do. You make it look so much fun.
You gotta have fun. I mean, and food, it doesn't have to be complicated, and most of the recipes are very uncomplicated. A lot of them, we have some people look at them, oh my God, there's an ingredients list a mile long. It's not hard.
Well, if that a mile long is a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of garlic, I mean, that's pretty fast. We do cook-alongs. We're just about to start our summer schedule now. And once a week we do cook-along. So we put up a meal. I think our first one is going to be caprese chicken, which is absolutely delightful. And what we do is we send out the ingredients list first, the mise en place first, which really is just a fancy schmancy chef term for having everything in its place. Everybody gets everything all set up. We meet online and we cook together, and it is so much fun.
Live TV, anything can happen.
You never know.
I've done some of those type of events, and actually with the East Coast or the theater out there in St. John's. I can't think of their name right now, but I've done some of their Friday night where you cook the meal, and unfortunately I'm not in range of having the ingredients delivered, but you can still do it. So now I got to add you guys to that list. I'm going to have to cook along with you. I just want to bring up a few photographs here. And I don't know if you can see this one, but it's you and Geoff, Bobbi and Geoff, in front of, you look like you're at a trade show, I think.
I believe that picture there, we're in Grand Falls, Windsor, out in your neck of the woods.
Excellent. Oh,
right.
At the culinary event in the summer.
You got it.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I think what we really want to tease people with here are some of those food photos. So we are going to show that next. Here we go. All right. What is this?
We can't see the picture.
Oh, you can't see it? Okay, I'm going to describe it to you. It's chicken. It almost looks like a teriyaki sauce. And you're dipping
that's our shed sauce. So if anyone is used to going to the chalet, that lovely dipping sauce that they have on the side, Now, we don't have a lot of chalets in Newfoundland on the East Coast, but we do have a lot of sheds. So
There you
when
go.
you taste that, that's going to take you right back to the chalet. And, you know, again, it's a guilt-free version of something that we're already used to.
Right on. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what's up next. It's dessert, and it looks like a cake, almost like a layered cake. I wish you could see these photos. So anyway, suffice to say, I'm going to do the commentary, I guess, but this is an example of a keto dessert. And if you're watching this and you don't like this, what's not to like? And then this one is you in the kitchen, Bobbi, and you've got a pan. It's actually in your cookbook. I think it looks like almost like cabbage rolls. Here you are.
Cabbage rolls, and for me, a lot of the recipes I spoke about naan, but for me, a lot of the recipes are really a great big memoir, because I can remember standing in the kitchen as a little girl watching my mom make those cabbage rolls. When I started keto, of course, we don't eat rice, so I figured, you know, that's one thing that I'm never going to be able to taste again. But as you can see, we've mastered it. They are so much like my mom's cabbage rolls that the first time I tasted them, I got teary-eyed. I got teary-eyed.
It's amazing how you can substitute things for other things that we're used to, and it still tastes great, like pizza on a cauliflower crust, and don't even miss the bread. In fact, you like it better. Feels
we're
better.
Not fans of the cauliflower crust, you know.
No.
I mean, we have a lot of people in our community who love them, but you know, just to use the expression, for us, it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still going to be a pig, and we're just
pig is good though.
Now we do have some recipes that we really enjoy. Like, for example, right now I'm working on East Coast Keto 3, and there's a whole roasted cauliflower, but the difference is for that one there, when I taste that, I know it's cauliflower. But if I have a pizza, I don't want to taste that cauliflower. I want to taste pizza. So what we do have is our skinny face pizza crust. Mm-hmm. And that one, I'm going to challenge anybody out there in the outside world to try that crust and tell me that it's not delicious.
That's on our YouTube channel.
It is absolutely delightful. Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Too, and on the YouTube channel.
We walk you right through how to make it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna definitely check that out. And this here now looks like your breakfast pizza that I have up on the screen. I think that's what you called it. Yep. Yummy, yummy.
You know what? Everybody loves leftover pizza for breakfast, and you can do that. You can make the pizza ahead of time, and you know, just have it left over the next morning. But in our pizza crust recipe, we recommend you make 3 small pizza crusts. And one of ours, when we do the recipe, we always put some aside to do that breakfast pizza. And, you know, a little bit of tomato on there, a nice egg in the middle, some bacon. Boy, I tell you what, you're in breakfast heaven.
Yeah, it's a great morning after solution there for sure, looking at you. And then I actually had up here the crepes. It looks like a strawberry crepe with a little bit of chocolate on the side.
That's the strawberry crepes with hazelnut spread. And of course, we're all used to going to the supermarket and getting that little jar of hazelnut. And unfortunately, it's not just hazelnuts in there. We try to teach people that keto is always ingredients first, meaning, you know, you should take every product that you eat and turn it around and look in the back, because there's a big difference between product and food. To us, food is a piece of meat or a piece of fish or vegetables. Anytime you pick up a product, you kind of got to look and see what's in there, because guarantee you there's stuff hiding in there. So yeah, that hazelnut spread that you buy in the grocery store, there's a lot more than hazelnut.
There's a chemical crab stone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Walk around the outer edges, stay out of those inside aisles where everything is. And that's a big thing that I've learned over the years, is to look at labels. And if you can't pronounce it, you can't spell it, be wary of that. And you know, our foods are filled with things like that. And trying to get back to eating whole foods is one of the things I do love about your cookbooks and the keto lifestyle. Looks like I have burritos maybe up here now, and something with tomato sauce. They look really good. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, the burritos are absolutely amazing. That's one of the recipes that I kind of brought to the table.
You kind of brought to the table. We tweaked it together,
tweaked it.
and then we tweaked it to keto. And we use there's some Mexican beef in there that we make, and we've used that on nachos. We've used it for chimichangas. We've used it, for a multitude
Burritos.
of.
We put some in our chili.
We put some in our chili.
Wow. So how much time, and this looks like a little appetizer here. It looks like a scallop, almost a Japanese presentation, a scallop on
a
sauce.
Puree. Those
Yeah.
are gorgeous. Most of us are so used to having scallops with a bacon wrap around them, and those are nice. But what usually happens is, in order to cook the bacon properly, you kind of got to cook the
crap out of
what he said.
the scallop ends up
Add
being
the
overcooked.
scallop. So if you follow that recipe, I promise you, it's going to be the tastiest scallops you've ever tasted before in your life. They are.
Yeah, and I definitely don't like overcooked scallops. We're big on our seafood here, and I even eat them raw, right out of the ocean sometimes. And there's my little dog, Salty. When the cookbook arrived, he told me he was going to try the keto lifestyle.
Cool.
So this is wonderful. So what, how much of your week are you spending in the kitchen?
As much as we can.
Luckily, we enjoy working in the kitchen, and we enjoy working together. And it's funny because when when we were doing the first cookbook, one of Jeff's coworkers kind of said, "Well, how much does all these ingredients cost to write this cookbook?" And Jeff looked at him and he's like, "Do you mean supper?"
It's just food that we would be eating anyway.
Exactly. So, a lot of times we'll make a little bit extra so we can do up that fancy plate to put aside, but really it's just our food and
And quite often we cook extra so that we can put it away in the freezer as what we call takeout night.
Right.
Take out the freezer. Yeah.
Keep it easy. And those are a lot of the tips that are in your book, how to make those choices so that you're not hangry, as you say, hungry and angry, that you have satisfied your appetite, which I find so much with the use of fat in food, giving it that taste. And it's just so satisfying. Anyway, I'm sold on it. I do love your cookbooks, and I'm so thankful that you had time today to sit down and talk to me about what you're doing. And folks, I guess, can get these Breakwater Books or the publisher. I've got it. Let's see, I've even got a tag in there for what I'm planning to make next, which is, I was going to show this because the minute I opened it, the sticky Kentucky bourbon chicken. There it is.
Author favorite.
That looks really good. I've already got it marked, ready to go. But thank you so much. And everyone can get the books, Amazon, Chapters, all the usual places. And
EastCoastKeto.com.
And EastCoastKeto.com, most important. So thank you so much. And everyone out there, if you have questions, fire them out there and we'll try to answer them over the next few days. And you guys, happy cooking.
Thank you. Happy ketoing.
We'll see you in book 3.
Yeah, I can't wait. And hopefully we'll get a lot of people ketoing in Newfoundland, and we'll get more and more ingredients in our grocery stores, which would be ideal. Well, everyone, thanks for watching and have a great day. And for all your Let's Get Writing stories, check out Catherine Taylor TV on YouTube. Bye, everyone. Bye, guys.
Bye.